Menopause does not have to be the end of vibrance. It can be the beginning of deeper wellness. And we're going to be diving into that right after this. Welcome, everybody. This is the Life Enthusiast Health Shots podcast, restoring vitality to you and the planet. I'm your co-host, Scott Patton. Joining us, as usual, is our fellow co-host, Martin Pytela, life enthusiast, health engineer. And Martin, before we get started, I have to say that this is one of those shows where I have to ask myself, what were you thinking, Scott? We're talking about menopause, which I almost know nothing about, and neither of us are women, so there's no immediate empathy. So,
Scott, brother, I don't know the inside of it, but I have been on the outside of it plenty.
And I was going to say that the hook on this thing is, guys, this is so you can help your lady or your mom or your sister get through it with the minimum amount of distress and discomfort. How's that?
That's the story. And first of all, you need to, as a man, if you're a man listening to it, just make sure that you put on an extra dose of understanding, because you need to understand. So let me just dive in with the following. There's a period that they call perimenopause, and menopause, the word is pause, is when it finally stops, right? And the perimenopause when it gets wonky. So a healthy woman has a period actually timed with the moon, usually 28 days. That should be the normal. If it's too short, they're probably too estrogenic. If it's too long, they're probably too progesterone or not enough estrogen. There are these things. Somewhere between 26 and 33 days is the norm. And if you don't have a period, you're either pregnant or sick.
Right. It's really important.
Right.
Well, what if you're on one of those birth control things?
Well, so there's the estrogen-based birth control where you have a regulated period, right? Where you essentially take a hormone that stops the egg, even if it's fertilized, from becoming implanted, right? To explain, the uterus will shed once a period and prepare a terrain for the egg to be arriving fertilized. Right, and the egg actually is fertilized not in the uterus; it's fertilized in the tube, in the fallopian tube. And sometimes it can get fertilized and doesn't descend, and that's known as ectopic pregnancy. The pregnancy is outside of the uterus, and it's very dangerous and deadly.
Right.
Anyway, so a healthy woman who's getting sperms up into the organ will get an egg fertilized. And then the egg has to descend and settle and embed in the uterus. And that's what that period is all about, preparing the nest.
Okay.
And so the contraception is either prevent the sperm from getting in at all, kill the sperm if it gets in, or
stops the
egg from implanting. Right? Those are the various methods that are used. And the last one that you mentioned is prevent the period, which I think that's brutal. That's just counter nature.
Right. So these things can all cause bigger problems if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, there's a fifth one I forgot to mention. That's I think it's called RU86 or some numbers like that. And that method is to terminate the pregnancy after it uh,
Oh, right. The
settles in,
abortion pill.
the abortion pill. So in the first month, you essentially will cause enough ruckus so that the already implanted egg gets kicked out.
Okay, so getting back to menopause, that's when all this stops.
So, okay, so perimenopause is the period in which things are not exactly regular. And then the menopause is when they stop altogether. That's so you will say, oh yeah, my last period was when I was 51.
Right.
Of course, you can stop the period by taking out the uterus or taking away the ovaries.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do we make sure that our lady friends have a pleasant change in their life?
Huh. Okay, so what starts happening is the first sign is progesterone levels start dropping. Scott, I shared a document that you should be able to see. It's called Hormone Symptom. And this here thingy is we call it the tracker. It lists the symptoms that you will experience when you are either low or high. The high is in the right side of the box. The low is the rest of them. And so, are you able to enlarge it? Can you zoom in on it? I don't know if you can, or is it up to me? I don't know if that's
No,
possible.
I
I don't
can't.
know.
I can't. It might. I don't. It might be up to you if you make it bigger.
Yeah, so no.
Don't.
Could you
Don't.
unmaximize? I just did something silly.
Yeah.
Okay. So no, that's it. We can't. Okay, so we can supply this, right? Like anybody who asks us for this, we can send it to them. And it's very helpful because when you're using this, you're able to see on this tracker what symptoms you are having. You would mark it 1, 2, 3, or 0. And so progesterone, let me just talk about that. 1, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, irritability, anxiety, mood swings, unable to relax, hot flashes, swollen or painful breasts, breast lumps, fibrosis or fibrocystic breast, swollen feet and ankles, irregular period, scanty menstruation, or on the other side, heavy bleeding, PMS, fibroids, and endometriosis, infertility, miscarriage, or miscarriage. I don't know. How do you pronounce it correctly?
Miscarriage.
Headaches, acne, swollen face, and bone density problems. All of this are symptoms of low progesterone.
They also sound an awful lot like a lot of chronic illnesses. The symptoms of chronic illnesses.
Well, that's because a lot of women are low in progesterone, and a lot of women are approaching menopause and are not uh, handled properly, right? Like all of this cluster of problems is both normal, but also controllable or fixable with the help of extra progesterone.
Right. So, what
So,
are some sources of progesterone?
well, there is some African yam cream that's been out there. We here, we are partnered with a company called Quicksilver Scientific, and we provide bioidentical topical replacement hormones. So we have that available in our shop. So anyone who wants to get their hands on it can do that. So the other part, Scott, is so the first part is that the progesterone levels tank.
Right.
And then the second thing that happens is the estrogen levels are starting to oscillate. One day high, next day low, just swings up, down, unstable. And that is also yucky. Let me just read to you what happens with estrogen irregularities. Hot flashes, night sweats, depression, brain fog, fatigue, low energy, weight gain. These are all deficiencies of estrogen. If you don't have enough estrogen, you may get hot flash, night sweat, brain fog, depression, low energy. Weight gain, vaginal dryness, urinary tract infections, decreased sensuality or interest, libido, pain during intercourse, urinary leakage, droopy breasts, pancakes, right? Dry skin, thinning skin, loss of feminine glow, dry eyes, vertical lines around the mouth. These are on the upper lip, usually just vertical lines. Rising level of cholesterol, back pain, joint pain, and low bone density, which is interesting. Low progesterone, low bone density, low estrogen, low bone density. Anyway, if you have too much estrogen, what you get is breast tenderness, breast fullness, nipple tenderness, and fluid retention. This is a famous PMS symptom, right? Women who are dysregulating their estrogen too high, they get bloated, fluid retention, and they get really swollen and tender in their breasts. So don't touch it. Right? Okay, you're muted to me.
That's what happens.
Yeah. So all of this starts being very unstable in the last 5-6 years of the reproductive life, right? When the period stops, you're no longer going to get pregnant. You can still get pregnant in perimenopause, but it's less likely. And it usually is the last 5, 6, 7 years. Anyway,
It's not a short period of time.
don't wish it on anyone, but everyone will go through it.
So a lot of times people just hear, well, like what you just said, everyone's got to go through it. You just have to deal with it. You just have to suffer.
Yeah. Well, and so the suffering is optional in the following way. If your liver is functioning really well, which of course is highly affected by how well your gut is functioning, but especially if your liver is doing well, your liver is responsible for controlling the steroidal hormone balances. So if your liver is congested or busy doing things, fatty liver from all kinds of nutritional sins of the earlier years, you will have a difficult time because the steroidal hormone balances are not handled well. So my number one go-to is keep your liver in good shape. And to keep your liver in a good shape,
I would second that.
Yeah, and if you have to, well, you need to also keep your gut in a good shape because that's what will affect your liver the most.
So the better your general health, the less trouble you're probably going to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember talking to my friend who was a raw foodist, eating fermented foods and just healthy as you can be. And she said, well, one day I had a bit of a hot flash, and that was the last period that came.
Nice.
That's all. Done. Right? Like nothing happened. Nothing burger.
I remember when my mom went through it, it was -30 in the winter in Winnipeg. And my dad and I were in the living room with my mom. And then the next thing you know, like we're dripping sweat, like it is so hot. And we look at my mom and she says, what, it's freezing in here. And then the next minute, she's turned the thermostat down and the door is open and she's getting all this minus 30 air into the place
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
it's too hot in here. And this would go on and on and on. And we just didn't know what to do.
Yeah. When you're having trouble with thermal regulation, it's really challenging.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on, we just want to remind everybody that sharing this show, sharing the link wherever you are, subscribing, liking, commenting are all things that the powers that be at the different social media love and will suggest us to other people. So if you can suggest us to your friends, and the Facebook and YouTubes of the world can suggest us to people interested in this topic, it will really help, and we really want to grow. So watch this.
Oh,
I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Cute. You worked on this.
So we're back, and we're talking about menopause.
So the main point I want to make in this particular program is you can request this symptom tracker, get it, and score it, and then call us with it saying, yep, I need this. Or if you know you don't need it, well, then hallelujah. At least you know that you're in good shape.
That's right. And so, Martin, is it available on the Life Enthusiast website, or
it's not given away? It's a by request only. It will be emailed to a person.
So what email should they use?
Well, they should contact us to request it. We will email it to them.
All right. So that's
come to the website, type into the chat, I saw this hormone tracker. Can I get it?
Yeah. www.life-enthusiast.com. And then we've got people there able to answer your questions. So yes, go there, get on the chat, say hi, and we'll send it right off to you.
Yeah, and if there's nobody on the chat in the middle of the night, you can still type it in with "send me the hormone tracker." We will.
Yeah, make sure you give your email.
Oh yeah.
And it's also a good idea while you're there to sign up for the newsletter, because we have a newsletter that goes out very often with all sorts of great information on it. It's not a salesy newsletter at all, and it's very, very well written. I think it's one of the best. So, Martin, we're at the 18-minute mark. I think maybe we should talk about one of our favorite herbalists' concoctions, which, remove that.
Did you find Meno-Ease?
There it is, Meno-Ease.
Yeah. Okay. So there it goes. This was designed with the restabilizing the endocrine system in mind. It comes in 3 sizes. This is the $79, the middle size. There's a $21.95 1 ounce size there. So you can get the tryout bottle or the bigger bottle, and we also sell it in a bucket for somebody who wants to treat a whole village.
Yeah. Or if you're going through it for 7 years, then you might just want to make that one-time purchase.
Yeah, this is a 16-ounce bottle, so it's a reasonable discount.
Awesome. So what's in it?
All right, there they are. Chaste tree berries.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, it's a popular thing about the herbalists for helping women to stabilize their cycles.
Yeah. And then Dong Quai.
Yeah, that's it. And rhabdosia. No, that's rhodiola. Rhodiola, black cohosh, maca, motherwort.
Sarsaparilla root.
Yeah.
Bladderwrack.
Yeah.
Thistle. That's
thistle.
Good for
thistle and bladderwrack are liver tonics, right?
That's just what I was going to say about the thistle.
Yeah.
And blue cohosh.
Yeah, that's the hormonal stabilization. And licorice root, that's the allergic reactions support. Golden seal is detoxification. And wild yam, that's the progesterone source.
And of course, ginger.
Ginger is always great because ginger is a stimulant. It helps to bring vitality up.
And if you're wondering about what to do, we have directions: 20 drops 3 times a day, away from food, or 5 to 10 minutes before meals, directly in the mouth, follow with water. Yeah. So would you say under the tongue?
Yeah, under the tongue is if you can handle it there, but anywhere, right? Like you're trying to get this absorbed through the mucosal tissues in the mouth, under the tongue, in the cheeks, in the gums, whatever. Just hold it there long enough for it to absorb, swallow, and wash it down.
Right. And what I love about the Life Enthusiast site is we always have related articles. So podcasts that we've done talking about different aspects of this. As you can see, it's not the first time. And then scientific references. What's going on and what is the science.
This would be letting you read a whole bunch of sciencey things about herbs.
Yeah. So perfect.
Yeah. Meno-Ease is well liked by people who need it. It's not everybody, but
no. Well, it's half the population don't, right? Like it's not. You wouldn't recommend it
only for a few years,
right?
Yeah.
In the comments, we have posted a link to it, so you can click on it and find out more about it. Check it out. When you're at the site, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner that little orange circle. That's our chat bot. We have real people answering it, and they'll be able to help you with whatever they need, whatever you need. And in addition to that, if you go to life-enthusiast.com/appointment, you can get a free 15-minute appointment with Martin. Talk to him about whatever's ailing you, and he'll be able to give you some excellent advice and set you off in the right direction.
Yes.
All right.
We're so good at it, Scott. Setting people in good direction.
That's right. So we've had a few people comment with some questions, Martin.
Yeah.
So the first one is it safe with HRT? First of all, I don't know what HRT is. So
that's a hormone replacement therapy.
Okay.
So as I was mentioning in our earlier talk about the hormone tracker, that is indeed the precursor to HRT. We offer the bioidentical hormone replacement available. So you can get it right here as a supplement. You can also work with a doctor if you want, your call. Okay. Some doctors are all gung-ho into testing, taking tests and telling you what levels you have and on and on. I'm of the opinion that your hormone levels fluctuate a lot. And so when you get the test, it could be off by a wide margin, and you could be making completely mistaken assumptions based on a test. I go by the symptoms. If you are having specific symptoms, you need either less or more of that specific thing. You need to listen to your body and just say, I can't sleep today. What's going on? And you'd say, oh, something's disrupting my progesterone. Is it my liver? Is it my gut? What have I done? Can I undo it? And can I fix it with a dose of the topical progesterone supplement?
I kind of feel like I say this way too much, but I think it bears repeating. Start a journal, or on your phone, there's a calendar. And so I'm having a hot flash in the morning and I'm having a cold one in the afternoon, or vice versa, or whatever. Or, putting everything down. Because it occurred to me, if I went to the doctor for a test and I've been having hot and cold flashes, but when I'm at the doctor, I'm not having any, there's probably a big difference, right?
Right.
Like you said.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that this food journal that you should be keeping is you need to go back several days. The immunoglobulins that are introduced into your bloodstream in reaction to different foods, some are reacting within minutes, some within hours, some within days, and some take 10, 15 days to go fire up. So you may
Right.
need to go through a bunch of pages to see if you can discern a pattern.
Right.
What was happening in the last few days? That
Particularly if you're going fine and then all of a sudden everything is really wonky, right?
yeah,
It could be because of stress, emotional trauma. It could also be because of what you're eating or drinking.
yeah,
All those good things.
yeah.
Good. So is it
Curiously,
safe with HRT?
yeah. So is it safe with HRT? Well, when you affect your hormones using these supplements, you will have to adjust your HRT intake. Remember, I just finished telling you, look at your symptoms, consider your symptoms, whatever they are. You may need more of this and less of that right
Right.
now or for a while. So
Yeah.
is it compatible with it? Yes. Will it require you paying attention? For
Yes.
sure.
You can't sleepwalk through it.
And
So,
you cannot go by numbers. You have to go by how you feel.
listening to ourselves, Martin, how could you suggest such a thing?
Yeah, how can I?
All right. How long until I feel a difference when I take the Meno-Ease?
Yeah, it will probably take all of 2-3 days. It has a fairly immediate effect.
Okay. And can I use it pre-menopause?
Well, it is meant for pre-menopause. The
Okay.
Meno-Ease is there for your perimenopause. And the perimenopause is when your cycle starts going wonky.
All right. Cool. All right. That's the end of our questions. Any last comments, Martin, before we sign off?
Last comments. Well, your liver is the central organ in managing all of this. And the things that affect it the most is what you eat and drink. Alcohol affects your liver lots, makes it really busy with having to metabolize alcohol. So don't be surprised that you're feeling worse after you take on alcohol. And over-the-counter drugs, they are also metabolized in your liver. So if you take painkillers or whatever the heck you take, they will have an effect on your liver. And so you can expect an echo, an after effect. Pay attention. Pay attention. Keep a diary. It's not just the food. It's the drink and the drug and the whatever else you're doing that will play a role in this process.
Right. Yeah. Total lifestyle, not just a single part of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Next week, we're going to be talking about building an immunity shield so that you don't come down with all sorts of terrible respiratory, unique diseases and illnesses.
Yeah.
Because you know what's coming. It's flu season. Martin, I'm sure that you knew this, but it used to be that there was flu pandemics, which meant that every 9, 10, 11 years, there would be a massive number of people that had the flu. And then it would drop right off to almost nothing. But sometime in the last, 30 odd years, it's turned from a pandemic thing, which happens on a decade type of cycle, to an annual type of cycle. And
I think it's just a hype, Scott.
Well,
okay. Let me say this: when you introduce a military-grade laboratory accident into the system, you can expect some sort of a massive problem. We had one of those. Otherwise, just
George says all
consider
by design. Yeah. George was all ready to leave, and then we got into the good stuff in the last 30 seconds, right?
Yeah. Well,
All
George probably has a partner who's possibly in the age group that may know something about menopause. Who knows? I don't want to second
He
guess.
said he got the T-shirt.
Okay, been through it. Okay.
He's been through it. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you, George, for joining us. Thank you, Martin, for taking time out of your busy day. Thank you, everybody else, for joining in. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your enemies. We want everybody to be healthy. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey. Hey.